Hi guys, welcome to Nick's Knits Podcast. I'm Nick, also known as Knick's Knits on Ravelry, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also contact me via our Ravelry group, which is called Nick's Knits Podcast. And you can also find my blog and all information about the podcast at www.knicksknits.com. So hi guys, welcome to the show. It's probably going to be a shorter episode just because of how the timing will work out, but we'll see how long it goes. I do have some new stuff to show you, which is good because knitting has been a little bit slow, but I'll talk about that later. But let me get in with the new male knitter. We have one new male knitter. His name is Kevin. His Ravelry ID is Fiber Kevin, and he's been on Ravelry since 2008, so he's probably been on since the very beginning, since probably after the beta version. If you've ever heard that story, basically Ravelry didn't have the enough space on their drive, so they were running the website from their from their home, and so they didn't have enough memory to be able to house anybody who wanted to sign up. But the beta testers were invited to try the website out, and you had to be invited to join Ravelry. And then I think in late 2008, they finally were able to house the site in a different, off-site where they could house as many people as they wanted. So I think Kevin probably joined around then. Let us know, Kevin. Let us know in the episode 10 thread. When did, were you a beta user, or were you just a, were you a beta user, or did you come in right, in the newly formed Ravelry? So let us know about that. Yeah, I'm still planning on putting the Male Knitter Hall of Fame up. I'll get to it eventually. It's just been crazy. But hi to all the male knitters out there. Can just, hi. And if you're a male knitter, post in the Male Knitter Shoutout thread or in the Guy Knitters Only thread. And just say hi, give us some information about you, and look for your name in the next podcast. So let's get on with whips. I technically don't have any whips, so I don't have anything that's on the needles right now. I just, 10-20 minutes ago, I just finished a project, and so I'm casting something on right after this podcast. But I thought it would be a good time to do this. So the whip that I'm going to be casting on is this Harry Potter scarf that I've been talking about. And I have an idea now of what it's going to look like. It's going to be a big scarf, and it's going to have striping on the sides, and then some blank space with blue, and then in the middle it's going to have this kid's name that I'm making it for. So here are the two colors that I'm going to use. You guys have probably already seen this. It's Cascade 220 in the Goldenrod colorway and in the Twilight Blue colorway. So, yeah. Making it kind of go funky. Yeah. So, there's that. And I'm using my Bakery Bears Rome Special Edition bag for the first time, and I'm in love with it. And I love the little Rome decal that's on it. It's a little ancient Roman coin, which I find so awesome. And it has a really cool, Roman fabric with all different Roman streets and sites, which is cool. And then on the inside, it has this really cool Art Deco fabric. I think I've already shown this bag, actually. Or not Art Deco, 70s fabric. I don't know why I said Art Deco, but I guess it is, kind of. Anyway, so there's that. That's going to be cast on probably right after I do this. I just have to plan out. I'm going to have to write some charts and figure out how my striping wants to go, but I might write up a pattern for this afterward, because it's a fun little thing. Oh, and Bakery Bears. If you want to buy some of Kay's bag, first of all, their podcast is great, the Bakery Bears podcast. But Kay also makes some bags, and you can buy them. You have to watch the podcast to figure out when updates are. But let me see. Yeah, bakerybearscottage.etsy.com, and they sell. I recently just bought a Star Wars bag because of the new Star Wars trailer that just came out, which is so exciting. I can't wait for Star Wars. I'm really, really excited. And I'll talk more about comics and sci-fi and all that sort of stuff later. So there's that. I have two FOs. Well, technically 3, but I consider these 2 little things to just be 1 FO. So I found on Instagram a program called the Click for Keely, I think is how it's pronounced. Wait, did I write it? No. Kiely, I think. I'm not entirely sure about that. But I made 2 hats, and basically what they're trying to do is they're looking for newborn hats. Yeah, they're just looking for newborn hats, I guess, to give out to babies. And I can't remember what it has to do with some sort of disease and some problem that babies have, but they have to be at least 50% purple. That is not true at all. It's a magenta. It does not look like that. It is a magenta, most definitely. Yeah, I need to start bringing I'm using just natural light today. No, this is not the color. It looks very like, you know, your regular old purple, like what you would think of as like on the color wheel, but this is not it. This is a magenta, most definitely. Yeah. I made 2 hats, just little hats. I used the basic, let me see if I can find the pattern. Did I bring it over? Yeah. The basic beanie, basic baby beanie by Haley Andrews. It's a free pattern on Rav. And I used Barocco Vintage, which I was using to make a pair of slippers, but then I ripped out. So I just thought this would be perfect, and I still probably have enough to make 1 more, but I kind of want to move on into a different project. Here's what I have left. Yeah, again, this is not the color. This is not the color at all. Wow, that's really bad. Yeah, I'll have to bring over a light next time. And I use my collage square needles, which I think I might have talked about, but they're completely square. As you can see, the edges there. I'm not the biggest fan of them, but I use them because they're really the only like bigger size DPNs that I like. If you go on Amazon, you can look at DPN sets that go from like size 0 to size 15, and they're probably only $20, and they're made out of bamboo. Don't buy them. It's not worth it. They have they're very blunt tipped, and especially in these sizes specifically, don't work well. 15s, 13s, they work pretty well because you don't need the, you know, a really sharper tip, but these guys have really nice sharp tips. And as you can see, it kind of goes from being round to then square, which honestly I don't mind them too much, but they clank around. Sorry for all the headphone wears, but they clank around. And if I do a lot of knitting like in public places or during, you know, during the community meeting at school or during whenever, in a place where I'm usually around other people, and so using these just isn't really helpful because it makes a loud clanking noise, which you can probably hear, and you know, it's just kind of not useful, but I'll use them when I need them, you know. I bought a bunch of sets, at least 3 or 4 sets, because I had heard raving reviews about them. Not to say that they're not going to be good for you, but I've just heard a lot of things. You know, I heard a lot of things like, oh, these are amazing. They're just very square. You know, if you were looking for something that you didn't think they were going to be as, like, they're very edgy, so when you, let me pull them out. When you roll them in your hand, like, you can feel like there's friction. Like, they have sides. Where the Knitter's Pride came out with, like, a cubics, I think they're called. I think they're made out of like a bamboo, which I think they would be a lot better. I think they're called collage square needles, Kollage, and if you look them up online, they also make some really nice yarns. They actually make a yarn out of old denim, which is really cool. But anyway, basically I just, you know, it's not, the hats are gonna be great. I'm gonna put them in the mailbox today. They'll go out tomorrow. And yeah, and so my second FO I have are the socks, the blue and gold socks. These socks by just a basic sock pattern. I did it by myself. I always use the Bud Knitter's Handy Book of Patterns because it just gives you a really basic, but at this point I basically know how to knit a sock without having to look at a pattern. Pretty well, at least. So yeah, as you can see, so here's what happened. I thought I would have enough to do the whole leg out of this blue color and then just have the heels and toes for orange. I completely ran out of the blue. And so I found in one of the yarn donations for the yarn club, actually, I found a blue skein that was, you know, it's blue. It doesn't match. But I honestly, now that I look at it, it looks fine. I'm not happy with these socks. They took too long. This is the third time that they had been knit. And I was done with them. I just wanted to get them done. So the reason why I didn't order more of the Huntington is because this colorway of Valley Yarns Huntington, that's the yarn that I used. This is the blue and the orange. Sorry, I didn't describe. This is the sunset colorway and the blue colorway. But the blue was on back order and it wasn't going to get in until mid-July. And in mid-July, I'm at camp. I go to a sleepaway camp, which I will talk about at a different podcast because I'll have to change up my schedule. But anyway, they had back ordered it and wouldn't come in until mid-July. I called them, and honestly, I didn't want to wait that long. The guy who I'm making these for is graduating in end of May, so I didn't want to wait, mail them to him, whatever. I just didn't want to deal with that. So I'm gonna block these right after I finish, wash them, block them. And I thought this blue actually doesn't look as horrible. Again, he'll probably wear them in shoes. I could doubt that he might wear them around, but honestly, they don't look horrible. I thought there would be a much bigger contrast here, but I think it looks actually pretty good. So I think I'm covered. But those are finished, thank goodness. Now I can move on to new socks and I have a bunch of new patterns in the works that I kind of want to get started. I would like to have a whole new set of stuff before May. So I think it's possible, just start doing some different things, continue on my clapetee, which I showed you a couple podcasts ago. Just do something a little different. I definitely want to do a shawl, some cool hats with texture. We'll talk about hats later. And yeah, that sort of stuff. So, stash enhancement. I do have stash enhancement this week. I went to my LYS, which I rarely get to do because today is the only day on a normal week that I get off. Today is Sunday, April 26th, and so I had Saturday classes, and yesterday was a really full day. I was at school from 8 a.m. to 9:30. I had a performance and all this other stuff that I was doing. But anyway, stash enhancement. I went to my LYS, and because I just don't really get to go, and last weekend was a long weekend for me, so I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off, which is rare to have 4 days in a row like that off. So I stopped by, said hello to my LYS, the shop owner. Her name's Kathleen, great woman, and I bought some Cotton Classic by Taki. And Taki is owned by Stacy Charles, and Stacy Charles is a man who I used his yarn for that tank top, which I'm gonna get finished eventually. I want to get that finished before the end of the school year, which I think I will end up doing. I just need to sit down with it for a day and just say, here's what I'm gonna do: untangle it. I'm considering buying another ball of it, so just make my life easier, but I'll see. Yeah. So she does these really anyway, Taki Cotton Classic. And we'll talk about this in a second. But the reason why I bought it is because she does these really cool sweater kits. Just a simple, I won't show you because it's just a simple sweater cardigan, fabric covered buttons. And she usually uses, what is it called? Spud and Chloe sweater. But I thought for spring I might make this. I don't have a baby in mind. I'll talk about baby knits later, because that's in the questions for you section. But yeah, I just thought I might make it. I've never made one. They're really popular in her shop. Oh, and her shop is Pins and Needles, which is I think I've talked about it before, which is in Princeton, New Jersey. And it's right across the street. It's off of Nassau Street, and I think is it called Nassau Place? I can't remember what street it's on. But if you look it up on the internet, Pins and Needles, Princeton, New Jersey. If you're ever in the area, you should stop by. It's a great shop. I love that shop. It's so wonderful. I'm very lucky to have 3 wonderful yarn shops nearby, 2 of which I've visited. The other one I'm still gonna get to eventually. And the fabric covered buttons that I chose, because she makes these fabric buttons all by herself, which is amazing, but she's a little crazy for doing it. I love her fabric covered buttons though, and they're affordably priced. I've always wanted to make a set for my own, but I have to tell you, if you ever visit the shop, ask her about her fabric covered buttons and sweater sets. And she also does these really cute summer dresses with the Taki Cotton Classic and then a fabric bottom, and she's really good with fabric and that sort of stuff. So I made 2 of them for my 2 cousins last 4th of July, because that's their birthday. Their birthday is 4th of July. And so I made a set for them, and they're so cute because she has really good color and fabric choices, and it's just, they're really good. If you ever, I'm going to say it again, if you ever go to Pins and Needles, either get the fabric covered button baby sweater sets. What are they called? There's a name. She wrote the pattern herself, I think. Where did it's called something. Sweet Little Baby Sweater. Go and ask for that. She has kits of them always. They are a wonderful knit. That and her summer dresses. And she also did this year some winter dresses with more of a fleece. And I think I'm going to pick a couple of those up too. I want to do more of those because they're just a wonderful project. They're really short, cute, sweet, and the fabric choices, and it's just really good. She's really good about fabrics. So there's that. Upcoming. I kind of talked about the maxi dresses, but I thought I might show you, sorry for the crinkling. Oh, I'm so sorry. I really am. I thought I might show you the fabric that I'm going to use. So, I ordered from a website called Spoonflower, which I think I talked about. I will show it again. Spoonflower. Design your own fabric wallpaper gift wraps. www.spoonflower.com, and basically they do all of their fabrics print to order, so everything is printed to order. So everything, they have a bunch of fabric choices, and it's really nice. And so I'm doing, because I thought this season's colors are mint and coral. I definitely think that those are this year's colors. And so I'm doing a maxi dress where the body is this beautiful mint. It's this very cool, I really like how it's going to look, with the top being this really nice, I might have actually shown these patterns before, really nice geometric coral and mint pattern on the top, and it's going to look really nice. So that's the first part of what I ordered. Then I ordered a second part, which with coral, with a coral bottom, and then a mint and chevron top. So I thought that's going to look awesome. I'm really excited to get working on that whenever I get the chance. I'll get to do it eventually. I just been crazy, and I'll talk about sewing a little later. But I've been really getting into sewing and all that sort of stuff. Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I need to do this better next time. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So, question for me, question for you section. So, this week's question of the week is, you guys have any good pattern suggestions for baby accessories? Let me know. Because so my old advisor from my old school, my middle school, is having a baby in 3 weeks. And I really want to make, I don't have time to make a sweater, but I would like to make a hat, mitten, and booty set, which I think would be good. And the thing is, they don't know the gender of the baby, so I've been thinking of really good, like, gender-neutral colors, and I was thinking orange, and what else? Orange, green, yellow. But I was thinking of these 2 yarns, which I have in my stash. This is, I'm pretty sure this is like early stash, but it's Malabrigo merino worsted. It's just a really simple single ply merino, very soft and squishy, and I would say I have about 100 yards of that. I like to make a hat and mittens maybe. And then I have Lion brand Jamie on Babies First. That's another yarn by Lion brand, and it's this very nice, I think it's 100% cotton. 50% acrylic, 55% acrylic, 44% cotton. It's a machine washable, and it's really nice and soft. It's a bulky, so I can get something quick done. I think I'll do a hat out of that or something. But if you have any suggestions, let me know, because I would really, really love to make something, but I need to do it fast. And I hope to get it done before she has the baby. But I think I would do it in like a 3 to 6 month size anyway, because I want the baby to grow into it, not just to be like a newborn hat. But I'll see. Anyway, so that's the question for you. Please post the answers to the question in the episode 10 thread in our Ravelry group, and that will be there with the title, which I don't know yet, but we will figure it out. And yeah, so please answer to that. Any wonderful patterns that you have for it's definitely got to be a DK or above. I'm not going to do anything fingering, but it's fingering or sport. DK or above. A DK or above weight pattern. Preferably free, but I would spend a couple bucks on a pattern of a good, solid... I was thinking of the Aviatrix hat. I've never knit it, and it seems kind of confusing. I just want to do a simple hat. I was thinking of maybe just using this to make one of the baby beanies that I just did, which would be really quick. They take me like a day. So I think I might just do that, possibly. Do it, at least that's why I have a backup, and then move on from that. So, the question of the week for me, and this was posted a while ago from Holly Dav, and here's how the question reads. Hi Nick, I'm kind of famous in the family for my hats. I love making and giving them. Since I've started giving them as gifts, I'm getting more and more requests. Wondering if you have any favorite hat patterns. Also, I've requests from some of the younger high school college age members of the family. So since you are in that age group, what are the kids wearing for hats these days? Do you guys still like watch caps and beanies, slouches? How about the girls? Any observations, tams, berets? Any pattern suggestions would be appreciated. I fear no hat, cables, lace, color work. Bring it on. I'm putting together my Holly's Happy Hats 2015 Christmas collection of patterns in hopes that I won't be weaving in ends next Christmas Eve. ... Who am I kidding? And she has put a winky face there. So, hats. I have to say, I have a lot of favorite hat patterns. Hats were a great way to start for me, and that's a lot of the kids in my club are starting with knitting in the rounded hats. I have to say, there are a bunch of, for boys really like the tight beanies. They either like the really tight beanies or they like the slouchy hats. But really tight beanies. And I like mine so that it's tight enough so it goes around my ears, but that it's not too, how would I say this? Like, it's not slouchy. There's not extra room. That kind of gets me angry. So I always make sure that there's a good hat. The Cool Haas by Jared Flood is a great pattern for boys. It has a cool texture. A great pattern for slouchy is and it's a new, I think it's called the Beeswax hat or the Bees Hive hat. And it's a slouchy hat with a cowl and a mitten set. And I think it's about a $12 pattern set, but you can buy them separately too. And it's a great, really lattice cable structure, which is fun. And I'm just trying to think. Girls definitely like the more slouchy hats. They like something that they can put on, but not that doesn't fully cover their hair, you know, so it's not, you know, all tucked in. You know, they definitely want something where your hair is still visible, so it's not as much functional as it is, you know, stylish. So there's that. I would say, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Colorwork hats are a lot of fun. My first colorwork project was a hat. I would say, honestly, just go on Ravelry and look and say, pick out a yarn from your stash and say, alright, here's the yarn that I want to use, plug it in. And Ravelry is such good free and pay for patterns, but those three, the Cool Haas by Jared Flood, the Bees Hive or Beeswax hat, I can't remember, I think it's Beeswax, and the, did I say another one? I don't think so. I'm going to talk about one right now, though. So one hat that I made, which I loved, which is perfect for men, is it's called the 70s ski hat, and it's a Pearl Soho pattern, and it's a great hat, and it looks like this. A lot of you may remember this shape as the flat top with the increasing sides, and you kind of wear it. This one's huge, and that's why I have it, but you kind of wear it like that, and it's extremely comfortable. So basically what the pattern does is it has, so back when I went to my first, I think, you know what, I think I already talked about this hat when I asked a question about any ideas for cinching it in, but I'll just quickly describe it. I used a Z-Lana mini skein that I got at my first Vogue Knitting Live. And so basically what you do is you knit the line, it's a provisional cast on, you knit the lining, then you flip the lining in and then knit together the lining and the actual exterior of the hat. And it's a really nice pattern. You decrease up the sides. It's a really easy pattern. Like, it's not hard at all. But it has she uses cashmere, but you could basically use like even just a nice merino. And then I used a nice wool on the outside with lanolin in it, so that if water were to get on or anything for skiing, you know, it wouldn't ruin it at all. So this is a really good winter hat pattern for men because it's really warm, but just make sure that your gauge is right and that you knit it just a little bit tighter. I don't have my exact pattern notes. Actually, you know what? Let me check. I might have my pattern notes. I might still have those. I'm doubtful, but I will look. I'm just on my Ravelry page right now. But yeah, I think that this hat pattern is just really, really, you know, I might not have even... Did I put it in? I thought I did. Sorry. But, yeah, anything is basically... I would say... Yeah, just any good tight-fitting hat for a man is perfect. And any perfect... I guess it's not in here. Sorry, I thought I took notes on this, but I don't know. Anyway, I thought that, yes, so, this is a great 70s ski hat by Pearl Soho. If you just look up 70s ski hat on Ravelry, you'll find it. It's a free pattern, great tutorial. She gives you it shows you how to do everything. When you first read it, like when I first read it, I freaked out because I didn't know how to do it. But then once you just start it and go through it and follow and trust, it's a great hat pattern. So yeah, it's a great hat pattern. Again, tight for the guys, Sachi for the girls. I wouldn't say a lot of people don't wear berets or tams that I see, but I bet people would like them. Everybody's different, so I would say. But I would just go with the beanies, I would say. Watch caps are great, anything like that. Just go with it, and you'll find it what's right. So there's that. Knitting Club update. So, all of the yarn is still out of the house. I have one box here, which I'm going to bring over at some point. Everything's going great. I think I'm going to do a bake sale. I'm kind of unsure at this point, and I'm going to be taking them all on a trip on May 16th to Pins and Needles. So if you're in the area and you would like to come and meet some of the kids who are in the Knitting Club, come to Pins and Needles. May 16th. We'll probably be there between 3:30 and 5 till close. So come on by if you're interested. We're just going to be taking a bus. I'm going to get a couple of chaperones together, which that'll be nice. But school is definitely crazy right now. So once the start of May happens, May is my last full month. So from May 1st to May 31st, that's my last full month. And then I only have the first week in June, and then I'm done. So things are really like rolling into a close. But everything's going really well in school, and I'll talk about that a little later. But the cow, Spring Into Socks cow with the Bakery Bears, post in the chatter thread. I looked today at the chatter thread, and there were 12 posts, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So many posts. I'm really happy that you guys are chatting and saying, oh, I really like this, I like that, I like that, I like that. But do not do that in the FO thread. Please do not post a chat, like just say like, oh, I really like that, or, you know, oh, that's really nice, or what's the pattern, what's the yarn. Don't do that. If you want to do that, I would suggest if you finished a pair of socks, please also post it in the Cal chatter thread, because people love seeing it and commenting. But for the FO thread, for how I'm going to do it, I would prefer that you don't put it in like that. Post FOs. And as I post your FOs in the FO thread, and as I said, one post equals one pair of socks. So if you knit 2 pair of socks, that's 2 posts. That makes sense? Kind of, sort of, really. Bakery Bears, it's 1 pair, or let's say 3 pairs of socks equals 1 post. 4 pairs of socks, 1 post. 5's 1. It's always 1 post. 1 post for the bakery bears. So there's that. Let me show you the prizes. We've had some new additions, but I thought I might show you the prizes. Because what's today? Today's the 26th, right? So I think this is actually our last week. Yes, so I will be recording on the third night. I'm going to lock the thread at the end of, so this upcoming Friday, the 1st of May, I'll be locking the thread. And so you won't be able to post it by the end of the day. So 9 or 10 o'clock, I will be locking it. And so so you have all day on the 1st to post, but it must be finished by April 30th. Got to be done. And so then I will draw for all of the winners and everything on the 3rd, and then probably get all your stuff out by the end of, so by May 9th. So there's the time frame. Well, I thought I might just show you. You've seen most of these high prairie fibers. It is the Bambuca Shimmer, which is 65% merino and 35% bamboo in the Loden colorway. I don't know if, yeah, there you go. And it is, if you want to visit High Prairie Fibers, go to www.prairiefiber.com. And I really like this yarn every time I see it. It's very variegated, but it has a nice little sheen to it. How many yards is it? 400 yards. You could probably get a pair of socks out of this. You just have to be careful. It'd probably just be house socks. The new prize that we got is from Love Knots. Love Knots, oh, I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. Her raffle ID is Love Knots, but she has a podcast. And it's called the Love Knots Podcast. LUVKNOTZ. Yeah, that's her name, Love Knots. And she dyes some really cool yarn, and I just got this, and it's beautiful. I love it so much. But this is her fingering weight base, and it's 80/20 superwash merino nylon. It's 100 grams, 463 yards, and 7 to 8 stitches per inch. And it is machine washable. But it is a beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's very nice and springy. It has both springy as in the weather and springy as in it's very bouncy. But it has these beautiful colors, yellows, pinks. Oh my god, that looks purple. It is not purple, folks. Oh my god, that just looked purple. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Greens, blues, pinks, yellows, and then it's all surrounded by a gray. I think this would knit up beautifully. So she sent me that. So what I think I'm going to do is she also sent me some stitch markers, which look like they have an elephant theme, which look really awesome. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide. I might send the stitch markers and the yarn together. Let me show you the stitch markers. There are so many different ones. She has an elephant, this really cool jeweled thing on it, sweater. Show you one more. Another little elephant. There's so many in here, but they all really sweet and they all look great. So I'm gonna consider it, but I might send these together. But if you seem interested in the yarn, go over to the Love Knots website. Actually, I should have put the website on there. Oops, sorry guys. Anyway, so there's that. Let me see. Does she have a website on here? She does not. www.etsy.com/loveknots. LUVKNOTZ. So if you go there, you can find her stuff. Just take a look at it. I'm going to consider about the stitch marker and yarn pair, but we'll see about that. And then I have 2 bags from Halsey Yarn, or Halsey Yarn. I don't know. I'm sorry. There's this bag, which I have the exact same bag, so we'll be twinning. It has this nice, cool background. It's kind of manly, nerdy on the outside. On the inside, it has cool glasses, which I love. And then there's this bird bag, which, as you know, I love birds. I might have said that. I do like birding, and I like birds. But cool birds. Bird fabric. Has a really nice, like, green branch inside. I really like both these bags. So there's that, and then there is, finally, from Bags by Terry, this beautiful bag. It's nice and big, very sturdy, has a nice striping inside, nice pocket. I love these bags. Terry, his web shop it's an Etsy shop. You just look up Bags by Terry on Google. Great, great bags. They're so useful, and they're really, really nice. They're really sturdy. You can just, let me unfold it. It's completely sturdy, unfolded. It sits on the table real nice. It's a nice solid bag, and it has these nice woodland creatures on it. There you go. So those are our Cal prizes. I think I'm getting one more. Oh, Benjamin Crudwig, who has his own podcast. I think it's, if you just look up Benjamin Crudwig on Google or YouTube, you'll find his podcast. He does shawl design and all that sort of stuff, and I think he's giving away either 6 or 8 patterns. I'm sorry, Benjamin, I just can't remember. But he's giving away his entire pattern collection. Let me verify that. Hold up. I think he's giving away all of his... I'm going to quickly check that for you right now. I'm on my... here, search messages. And... Redwig. Sorry. Just looking for him. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to offer to one person the complete set of my patterns. This includes my MCal. This is 8 patterns that include 4 knit patterns and 4 crochet patterns. Just have them message me when they win their prize. So I will, whoever wins, go and take a look, and you will get all of his patterns. But if you're just interested to see what they look like, go and take a look at what they look like. So there's that. Those are all of our patterns. Let me just, prizes, I mean, put those all back in where I usually keep them, right behind me. Sorry. Okay. So there's that. Let me put my other yarn back here. So blabber. We are on to the blabber section. It's already 37 minutes in, so I better get moving here. But weather, it's been beautiful out. It's still a little cold. It's been a little windy, but it's been good. School, I was so with my art class, we went on an all-day trip to the Met in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. It was wonderful. I was able to see all these really beautiful paintings, and the best one of all, in my opinion, was the Washington crossing the Delaware. If you've never been to the Met and you live pretty close to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, you should definitely go and see it, because it is a sight to see. They have artifacts and art, and it's awesome. So many different stuff. But this one, that was my favorite. It was this huge painting. Like, it was probably, I'm looking at my back, the wall behind me was probably bigger than the wall behind me, which is quite big. It's pretty big. So, but it was a huge painting. If you've probably seen it, it's basically Washington standing up on the boat, and all the other guys are paddling across the Delaware, and they're going to siege or go and attack the British on Christmas Day. And so that's kind of when the war turned around. But anyway, the Revolutionary War. It was a really cool gallery, and seriously, this painting was huge, and I loved it. I think I'll insert a picture of the gallery at the end of the podcast, but it was an awesome trip, and I got to see a lot of stuff, and it was great. Otherwise, school's going really well. I've been doing crew. We had our first crew race yesterday, and it was against the Lawrenceville school, and we came in 2nd place, which is good. It was good. So that was all good, and I only have 2 more weeks of crew left. So I have next weekend. So our school is in the Maple MAPL league. And so there are 4 schools that row out of the Maple, and we will be competing against all of those schools on next weekend, whenever that is. I think it's like so Maryland Achievement weekend, 1st and 2nd of May. So there's that. No, 2nd and 3rd. 2nd and 3rd is when I'll be competing. So there's that. Anything else with school? School. I can't believe how quickly the school year is ending. It's insane. It's like, I can't wrap my head around it, but it's coming, and so I'm just excited for summer when I'll have a ton more time to knit and I go to camp, and it'll be awesome. So I'm really, really excited. Spring, it's beautiful out. It's finally, everything is really green. Flowers are coming up. All the colors just are really inspiring me, and so I really want to start designing patterns and get into sort of designing that sort of stuff, and yarn dyeing possibly, but some way to express my creativity other than just knitting. So there's that. And finally, Comic-Con, comic books, comics. So I'm in a book club, as I've told you before at school. It's called Realms, and it has like it's an acronym. It has some sort of meaning, and I can't remember it right now. Basically, what it's a fantasy book club, and so we read fantasy novels and comic books. I read more on the comic book sides, but basically, we are having our first meeting on Tuesday. We're basically going to talk about the books that we read over spring break and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really excited about that. And then in October, so the same guy who runs the club is also my humanities teacher, and humanities is a mix of English and history. But anyway, he teaches that, or he's the leader of that club, and so he wants to take us all to Comic-Con, which I'm so excited. Comic-Con happens at the Javits Center in New York every year, middle of October, I think, but the tickets sell out like that. It's so quick, but I really, really, really want to go. So if our club doesn't end up going, which is hard because all the kids would have to, we can't order it in a group, so all the kids would have to order, but I think I'm going to be able to hitch a ride with him either way, which I'm really excited about. And he's a really nice guy. But I will talk more about our discussion. I think there's actually going to be a blog put up, which you can read, and it'll have like reviews that we all wrote and stuff, but I will send that along. And I think that's it. It's a great day out. I'm headed to my brother's soccer game in about half an hour, so I got to get changed. And otherwise, just living life. It's wonderful. So, I think I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for joining me. Please make sure that you check out the blog. That's where all the show notes are. www.connectsknits.com. Please go and check that out. That's where all the show notes will be and everything. And yeah, post and get knitting socks, post in the FO thread, post in the chatter thread. Make sure you join our Ravelry group, Knits Podcast. Make sure that you do that. And let me know what you think. I have a podcast suggestions thread in our Ravelry group. Please, please join. And let me know what you think. Just, oh, I didn't like this. The noise wasn't just right. Your lighting was weird. I know my lighting's weird today. Your lighting was weird. Colors didn't look right. That sort of stuff. Just let me know if there's any way that I can help. So thank you very much, and I will see you all next week. And let's hope I don't have a YouTube problem this week. I think I figured it out. But all right, guys, have a great week and happy knitting. Bye, Neri.